Alright guys, welcome to this new video. I got a ton of requests creating this video, and today in this video I'm going to walk you through the entire 10 a.m. game plan checklist. I look at this exact piece of paper every day before I trade, and there's simply one rule. If I cannot check every single box for the checklist, I will simply not trade. I will not press the button, I will sit on my hands. This video is going to walk you through fully how to do this yourself in just 3 simple steps. Without further ado, let's hop to the chart to see some examples so you can copy paste this entry model to make money. Cool, so step 1 is going to be the prediction. We need to predict the next 4-hour candle. It's called 10 a.m. game for a reason. It's because we play the new 4-hour candle at 10 a.m. New York time every single day. And the simple way how you can predict the next 4-hour candle is look at the previous one and also look at higher time frame PD rays. What I see right here is a 4-hour bullish order block right here, and I see a bullish fair value gap sitting right here on the 4-hour. And here it's 6 a.m. That's the candle where the New York opens. We traded to that area where we could reverse form and then just continue with the trend to the upside. So because this is a rejection candle, we trade into it, but we leave a big wick to the upside. I'm predicting that the next 4-hour candle is going to be a bullish one. If you predict a bullish candle works with an open, a low, and then a high and a close. So with this bias, this is what we're going to use on the lower time frame to find our entry criteria, our entries. And this isn't just on NASDAQ and on the indices. This works on Forex, on metals, everywhere. For example, here on silver, what we did is we swept a weekly low right here, and we swept the weekly low inside a key level, a 4-hour bullish value gap, and now start to react upwards. Oh yes, we have a 4-hour bearish value gap, but here you can play the 10 a.m. game as well. So with this bias, we just swept liquidity, and also we are in a pretty big uptrend on the higher time frame. My bias is definitely going to be longs. I want to see at least price trading back into this top for value gap, and maybe also into the order block that is resting above it right here. Also from that, the prediction is going to be a bullish candle. Oh, you thought we were done here? Notice that even a third example here on YM, the Dow Jones. Here we're trading to a 4-hour bullish fair value gap at 6 a.m. So at the New York open with a bullish bias. So also this candle, I'm going to play an open, high, low, close, a bullish candle. The prediction going to be a bullish candle at least towards these relative equal highs right here. Cool. Now you know step 1 out of 3. That's how to predict the next 4-hour candle. We need to talk about step 2. That's the actual setup on the lower time frame. So across all the 3 examples on NASDAQ, silver, and YM, we have a bullish bias. And if you have a bullish bias, you predict that the next 4-hour candle is most likely going to be a bullish candle. And we wait for the lower time frame, if we expect a bullish candle, for a power of 3 or an AMD. So that means accumulation, manipulation lower in a key level, and then start the distribution, catching the full range of that 4-hour candle. So this is where we focus on the lower time frame. And what you will see is that price is not always as picture perfect as you see on all the YouTube videos. Sometimes there's more nuances. So with step 1 with the bias, even when you have choppy delivery at a lower time frame, you can still make money. So let's take a look at the example right now. Here we look at NASDAQ at the 1-minute chart. And the big yellow box right here is a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. So already before 10 a.m., we are potentially starting the aggressive sells in a key level, aggressive buys. So it means at 10 a.m. when the new 4-hour candle opens, I don't need price to come back into this low. This low is already good, like in a kill zone, 950. So the setup is most likely going to appear in that displacement range before 10 a.m. That's this range right here. So all you need to focus on is and wait for that small accumulation. The accumulation doesn't need to be long. Remember, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. The first few minutes of the 10 a.m. candle needs to be some form of accumulation. Can be a few minutes. It sometimes lasts 30, even 1 hour. It depends for 10 a.m. The nuance I want to show you on this exact example is that because we already traded into a key level, we will not trade back into here. So somewhere here in this range is going to be the accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I don't care if it's here or all the way down here. Doesn't really matter. So that's step 2. Predict the next 4-hour candle is 1. Now we look at the setup. We need to wait for accumulation, manipulation, what we see right here. And for the actual entry, first I want to show you the exact setup also on silver on YM. So here look at the same example on silver where we had a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. And step 1, we predicted the next 4-hour candle is going to be a bullish one. So when price opens here at 10 a.m., see there's already a fair value gap created here, but we're looking for that accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So we need to have some form of manipulation below that 4-hour candle because the 4-hour candle wick needs to be put in. Every single candle has a wick. If you see a candle without a wick, that is suspect. So we need a clear 4-hour candle wick being put in. This could already be it. And before we look at the actual entry setup and how we take the entries to make the most amount of money, the similar setup will appear here on YM on the 1-minute chart. Here at 10, we already traded into a 4-hour bullish fair value gap, so a key level. So we don't need to come back to this low anymore. We're going to play a continuation into the displacement range. We already see fair value gaps here. Our setup, our manipulation will probably appear somewhere here. So we anticipate accumulation, manipulation lower, probably here. There's not much to rebend, or maybe here. Set the low of the 4-hour candle wick there and then trade higher in the distribution of the AMD. So from all the 3 examples, we now know how to predict the next 4-hour candle is bullish on all of those. And also we know how the setup is created. That means we let price come to us. We know exactly what to look for. Our eyes are trained to wait, to be patient, to what's actually coming. And now let's go to step 3. Cool. And now the most exciting part, how to make the most amount of money based on these 3 simple steps. Step 3 is the signal. What actually do we need to look for before we take an entry? This example here on the NASDAQ, we already knew, okay, 4-hour candle is going to be bullish. Here at 10 a.m., we immediately sell off. So we're probably going to have an accumulation here, manipulation into here, and then start distribution. These candles already show its hand that we most likely are now going to start the distribution. So the low of the 4-hour candle is now being put in. What I'm looking for is the 2 PD array rule. I want to see 1 PD array being the test PD array, and this example is going to be this bullish fair value gap. Ideally, I also would like a inversion fair value gap to be created. So here's the test fair value gap, test PD array, and I say test PD array because it's purely to see, okay, are we actually want to go higher, or are we just going to trade lower and lower? And here, after we start creating the up close candles, this bearish fair value gap got completely ignored, inversed. So that means this is going to be inversion fair value gap. So this would already be the second PD array, the 2 PD array test, the second PD array for me to enter. So when we close above this inversion fair value gap, we have PD array 1, PD array 2. Here could already be the entry after this candle close. If you even want to wait more, you can just wait for a new fair value gap to be created. Let's see what we do here. It's a very choppy delivery. You could already take your entry right here after the inversion fair value gap was closed. Stop below the low for a 1 to 2. That'll be the first option here. If you rather wait for another bullish fair value gap to be created because you maybe don't like inversion fair value gaps, you could take your entry from this fair value gap here. Where you stop then is going to be below the last line of defense. It's going to be this bullish fair value gap or below this low. I like to put my stop loss below the last fair value gap or below the last low. But let's say we do below the last low for 1 to 2. And then we start the distribution. So a very short accumulation. You can even maybe not even call this accumulation. We go lower immediately. Why do we not accumulate for a long time here? Because before 10 a.m. at the open, at the 6 a.m. candle, we already traded to that key level where we want to move away from to the upside. And then we manipulate, test fair value gap, test PD array, inversion fair value gap for this first entry. If you want to wait a little bit longer, you can take it right here. Wait for the basically the third PD array. In my opinion, 2 PD arrays are enough. And now let's see how this works out. So you already could see how choppy this delivery was. So even when the bias is correct, it's an actual trade I took myself. The bias was so easy. The bias was so correct because we're basically just playing a 4-hour internal to external. We just wait for price to create the bias structure. And we did it right here. We stayed in this area for such a long time. And that can happen. Like, you cannot predict the actual delivery, but what you can predict is the bias. Your actual daily bias is created right here. Step 1 is predicting the next 4-hour candle. Check. Step 2 is the entry. We want to have an AMD, an accumulation, and manipulation lower into a key level. So here's 2. And for the actual entry criteria, use the 2 PD array rule. Step 3, use 1 as a test PD array. This was our test PD array. And then take your entry in the next PD array. So you are less likely to get faked out. And you might wonder, does this work every day? Yes, it does work every day. As long as there's a clear step 1. That means as long as the next 4-hour candle is pretty easy to predict, like we saw here, which is nearly every single day, you can play the whole 10 a.m. game. So when we look at the same example on silver, is here before 10 a.m. we already traded to the key level, so we don't need to come back here per se. But at 10 a.m. we want to see an accumulation. 10 a.m. starts right here. Accumulation, manipulation lower. If I'm looking at this price action, if we zoom in on this price action, I see here is we already balanced here, but we did not balance this fair value gap yet. So we could make the manipulation into here. Not sure. We just want to see some form of manipulation outside of this consolidation range. See, we consolidate and then we trade lower. So here you see very clearly the accumulation. Now the manipulation lower, and I honestly don't care. I'm not a bottom ticker. I don't care if the manipulation is created here or we take this low one more time. I don't care. I'm just waiting for those 2 PD array rules. At that point, we have an inversion fair value gap sitting right here. That's PD array 1. So the next fair value gap that's being traded into could be here, could be here. There's where the entry is going to be here. That's it. Here's the entry. Right here, stop below last line of defense. I would say below the inversion fair value gap here for a 1 to 2. So price stays inside that fair value gap for a while. But we know the bias of the 4-hour candle is very strong. And there it goes. So where we saw step 1 is predicting the next 4-hour candle is a bullish one. Step 2, the setup, is an AMD power of 3, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And how we do that is with the 2 PD array rule. We wait for the first PD array to be created. That is right here after the manipulation, the inversion fair value gap. And then the second PD array is going to be here inside this bullish fair value gap. Delivery here, don't expect if you take a trade that it goes to TP in 5 minutes. Sometimes it does, but the majority of the time it happens like this. It just stays for a while. Entry was at 10:48. It started moving 30 minutes after. And then you had your TP. And in the third example on YM, we already knew 4-hour candle is going to be bullish. We know that the manipulation needs to happen probably because here is already before 10 a.m. we already traded to the key level. It's price to accumulate, manipulate lower, and then start distribution higher. Let's see at 10 a.m. right here. 10 a.m. starts, we accumulate. There's already a manipulation. Look at this. Accumulation, manipulation into a fair value gap right here. So with this already price showing that probably this is going to be already the low of the 4-hour candle. So then here, where the entry can be found, right here. Stop below the last line of defense right here, or it can be below the low. I like it to put it here, below this fair value gap, or I wanted to. And then price goes to a TP. And the reason why I show you 3 examples on 3 different assets, because it not only nearly happens every single day, but it also can be used across all the different asset classes. Where step 1 is predicting the next 4-hour candle. Step 2 is the setup, accumulation, manipulation after 10 a.m. and then start the distribution. And for the entries, use the 2 PD array rule to get the highest win rate and don't get faked out as much. This strategy happens constantly and it gives order in the chaos of the New York session, especially at the open. Now, I know it can be hard to remember, and that's why I created the entire 10 a.m. game cheat sheet with all the entry criteria I use every single morning when I trade. It walks you through phase 1, 2, and 3, so you never miss a step. If you want to download this exact checklist, I'm giving it away for free. Just get the link in the description or in the Discord, and it's also across all my Instagram. Just grab it and start trading on it. And if you want to see me trade this live every single day, just join my Discord and see how I make money with this together with my community. So come join us, grab the checklist, and start winning with us immediately. Thanks for watching, and before you go, make sure you check out this exact video, because watching this video about a 10 a.m. game together with this video, you not only have an insane hit rate, but you also actually going to start make money with this exact entry model. Cool. Enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.